Okay, we are going to master the basic squat. So there are a million ways that we can build and expand and advance this, and it all comes from mastering the basics first. So there's a number of things to be aware of. Notice I have my shoes off right now. Not necessary, but wonderful when you're learning good form on this, so you can be aware of the role your feet are playing and if things are rolling in or out, and what your toes are doing. So we do encourage you to learn a good squat with your shoes off. So again, a few things to be aware of on alignment. We want to have a comfortably wide stance, so not super wide, but not so narrow that the hips don't have anywhere to move. We don't have room to move the hips if the feet are too narrow. We do want to work range of motion on a squat. So you'll see some people do very short range of motion squats. Ultimately, I want you to have the strength and the range of motion to be able to sit down on something very low and stand back up without needing assistance. That's a wonderful thing to be able to do. So we do want to work range of motion, so just have that in mind, that you're not really going to go too deep on your squat as long as you keep good form and you're not having pain anywhere. So comfortably wide stance, usually about shoulder or hip width apart, whichever one is a little bit wider, so that again you have room to move your hips. And we want to be very aware of posture, so up nice and tall, looking straight ahead, chest is lifted, abdominals are engaged. Okay, so sitting, driving those hips back, sitting down, weight is through the heels, coming up, squeezing those hips forward. Okay, toes should be engaged, so we're not lifting the toes even though the weight is back in the heels. We're actually grabbing on with the toes as well. That's going to strengthen your base of support, it's going to strengthen your arch and your feet, all of which are wonderful things, and keep you very grounded and stable in this squat. Arms can reach out for a counterbalance as you're learning the squat. Eventually you'll want to have the strength to have good form with your arms in near your body for holding weight, for example. But you can reach those out to start. So sitting back and down, great posture, abs engaged, coming up, squeezing the glutes through at the top. So not finishing soft here. You want to squeeze those hips through, okay, get those glutes really engaged. Also noticing the knees. So very important point. It's not uncommon that people's knees will collapse in. So one of the cues that I will often give is thinking of spreading the floor. So putting some outward pressure into the feet. They're not going to rotate out. You're still grabbing on with all your toes, especially that big toe. You're not rolling anything out, but you're thinking of spreading the floor so you have just enough outward pressure in the knees that you actually engage the outer part of the hips and thighs so that you don't collapse the knees in. We definitely don't want that. It's not good for the knees. It's not good for the hips or the back. So being aware of what your knees are doing, there should be good alignment here down the front from the toes up through the knees and the hips. Okay, so making sure that you're not collapsing in, that you're spreading the floor, driving those knees out while still maintaining contact with all of your toes. Okay, so just a lot of things to practice to master these basics. Okay, so up nice and tall, spreading that floor, squeezing the glutes at the top, abs are engaged. Okay, again, we're just sitting back, standing up and squeezing, nice strong posture. And again, just working on mastering this, and eventually we will progress it. We can do all sorts of work with tempos as far as how fast and slow you're moving. If you're holding, we can add weight to it. There might even be a time you're doing a jump if that's appropriate. So a lot of different options that we want to build upon the squat to be able to do.